This is an introduction to OES 6128. It is a 2019 HME Type 1 apparatus. It is equipped with a Cummins ISL9 that produces 370 horsepower, has an Allison automatic EVS 3000 transmission, 6-speed with 6-gear blocked out. Has a gross vehicle weight rating of 40,540. Has a fuel tank capacity of 65.5 gallons. It is equipped with a Hale 1250 GPM single stage main pump. It's called the Q-Flow Plus 1250. It's rated at 1250 GPM at 150 PSI. Has an 800 gallon polypropylene water tank, as well as a 20 gallon Class A foam tank. The aux pump is a Darley 1.5 AGE 3-cylinder diesel pump. Is capable of 80 GPM at 210 PSI. The aux pump will flow water to the water tank, all 1.5-inch discharges, and the reel line. It has a Hale rotary vane oilless primer. And for the foam system, it is a Hale foam system controlled from inside the cab and provides foam to all 1.5-inch discharges. This apparatus is equipped with a portable pump. The portable pump is a Honda WH-20X. It utilizes a GX160 Honda motor that is 163 cc's. It has a high pressure centrifugal self-priming pump that primes in approximately 80 seconds at 16.4 feet. The discharge capacity is 119 gallons per minute with a total head lift of 148 feet. Has a suction head lift of 26 feet and a maximum pressure of 64 psi. It is used for water supply operations and is equipped with a hard suction line, a submersible strainer, and a floating strainer. It is located in the rearmost compartment on the captain's side. Next, we're going to show you how to operate the portable pump. All right, so we're going to set it up into our porta tank, show you how to gain a water supply. Like I said, we have the two types of strainers. First one we're going to show you is a strainer that sits on the bottom. So first thing you're going to do is hook up your hose, your intake hose, to the intake side of the pump. Intake side of the pump is going to be the bottom that is coming straight off the pump. That's the intake side. The one that is turned coming off the top of the pump is going to be your discharge side of the pump. So hook it up, make sure you don't have any air leaks in there, just like any kind of drafting operations. This is a self-priming pump, but there is also a primer valve on top. So if you have the opportunity to prime it so it doesn't run dry, you remove that cap, get some water in the hose, push it down into the pump. That helps prime the pump and allows it not to run dry. Place the cap back on. Once that's all set, you're going to hook up your discharge hose to the discharge side of the pump. And again, make sure there's no shutoff point on the discharge so you can't have back pressure or it'll explode that pump. So we'll take that nozzle off and make sure it's free flowing for the discharge. For purpose of this demonstration, we're going to flow it back into the water source. So just like any of our other small engines, it's kept in the ready to start position. Ignition is on, fuel is on, choke is on, throttle in a low idle position at this point. Pull it. Once it warms up, turn your choke off and throttle up. It automatically starts pumping once the pump is primed fully. So the pump's starting to prime. You can hear the change in the motor. And now we're discharging water. So you can discharge that into your tank. You can discharge it out of the stream into a porta tank. Multiple uses for it. Really basic operations.
see that strainer sitting on the bottom. Make sure that strainer is completely covered by water. Make sure you're always discharging water. All right, now we're gonna switch over to the floating strainer. As you can see, it has an airtight cylinder on the top, floats on top of the water, forces that strainer part into the water so that it's always underneath the water. This will allow the strainer to stay off the ground and not suck up any dirt or debris. And same operations, just start it up and flow it as normal. Just ensure that you always have enough water around that strainer at all times. All right, now we're gonna show you drafting operations similar to all our other Type 1 apparatus. Like I said, we have two 10-foot sticks of 6-inch hard suction to make 20 feet. We have a strainer on the end, which is located in the brass compartment, or sorry, in this compartment with the McLeods. We have this valve, which we'll go over later. Similar operations, you just hook it on, make sure there's no holes, and pull a draft. One thing you have to be conscious or watch out for is that is in the main pump position. So you see there's an aux pump and a main pump. Make sure that's in the main pump position and use this primer handle. This is the primer for the aux pump. Use this primer handle to prime in the main pump position. Go up here in the cab, put in a pump is similar to all our other apparatus. You're gonna park, pull the parking brake, put it in neutral. Once it's in neutral, shift it like normal. Put it back in drive, make sure it shows 4 and 4 on there, and make sure the goes up to approximately 20 miles per hour on the speedometer, and it's in pump. Once it's in pump, then you come outside, everything's hooked up. You can go ahead and make sure it's in the main pump position and pull a prime for up to 45 seconds. Feeling the weight of the hose. You got pressure on the discharge gauge and pressure on this side of the gauge. This is your intake gauge. It'll fluctuate between 0 and about -3 on there. Ensure you have flow through the reel line. The reel line has no discharge handle. It's just always on. And with any drafting operations, if you're not flowing water, try to have a line flowing back into your source for recirculation purposes.
This is the valve that the engine is currently equipped with. Prior to drafting, place the valve in the locked shut position and remove the cap. Once the draft hose is connected, place the valve in the locked open position. The engine will not draft in the free floating or locked shut position. It must be locked in the locked open position as seen in the picture.
Next, we're going to talk about the foam transfer system. The foam transfer hose is located in the brass compartment. This is a foam transfer hose that hooks up here to the A-foam refill. It has a cotter pin in here. You pull that out, undo the cap, pull the cap off. Don't lose the cotter pin. This one goes into that area. Lock those together. This one is supplied with cotter pins also. Install the cotter pins onto that. And then you stick this down into the foam bucket. Once that's in your foam bucket, with your pump running, you turn the foam transfer switch on to the on position. Both of these will be lit up, and it'll take the foam from the foam bucket and transfer it to your foam tank. So here's our thermogel setup. It can be found in this roll-up compartment on the captain's side. This is a thermogel backpack as seen in the video. The only thing different that's not in the video that we have is this small tube. This small tube connects to the air hose that's on the other side with a blowgun. You hook the blowgun up to the tube, put it, after you remove the cap, put it inside the thermogel itself, blow in it. It's like blowing into a milkshake, makes bubbles, and it agitates the thermogel. You have to make sure you agitate the thermogel before use or it'll clog the jets in the gun. Put it on as a backpack as seen in the video. Insert this into it and connect a piece of 1-inch hose, and you're ready to drill houses.
Now that you've had an orientation of the apparatus, work with your crew to complete the task book and familiarize yourself with the equipment and operations of the new OES.